Delbert Black of Orr, Oklahoma, enlisted in the United States Navy as an apprentice seaman on March 15, 1941. Just short of 10 months into his service, Black found himself immersed in one of the most consequential moments in American history, the Imperial Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor. On the morning of December 7, 1941, Black was aboard USS Maryland, one of 8 ships moored on Battleship Row, an area that was heavily targeted by enemy aircraft. As a gunner's mate, Black served on USS Maryland for the remainder of the war and earned 8 combat ribbons. After serving on a series of tours at sea, in 1949 Black was given assignment in Washington, D.C. as a Seaman Guard. It was there where he met his wife, Ima J. Nesmith, a former Navy storekeeper and wave. During the Korean War, Black was stationed at Ship's Repair Facility, Yokosuka, Japan. Following gunner's mate B school, he served on 3 more ships, became a recruiter, and then made chief on September 16, 1959. In 1963, he became a senior chief gunner's mate. In 1965, Senior Chief Black was assigned to USS Independence and went to Westpac, Vietnam, where he got promoted to Master Chief. Upon arrival in the United States, he was made Base Chief Master at Arms at Dam Neck, Virginia. When news came that the Navy was creating a new billet, one that would establish a leading Chief Petty Officer of the Navy titled Senior Enlisted Advisor, Master Chief Black was at Portsmouth Naval Hospital recovering from an appendectomy. Encouraged by his wife Ima, Black submitted his application. Even though his package was late, the board accepted the application anyway because they were so impressed by his resume. He was one of 11 finalists reviewed by the selection panel. When he reported to Washington for the interview, Ima was with him. When the board concluded their questioning, Ima said to the officers, "I don't know who you are going to select, but my husband is the top enlisted man in the U.S. Navy." On January 13, 1967, Master Chief Gunner's Mate Black became the Navy's first senior enlisted advisor. Months later, the position was retitled Master Chief Petty Officer of the Navy, or MCPON. Ima Black reflects on why she thinks her husband got the job.
He was very smart. He had a lot of experience. He had served on a lot of ships and stations. And his personality, when you met him, he was approachable. It didn't matter if you were a seaman or if you were an admiral. You knew this was a guy that you could talk to. He was a friendly person. That's a few of the reasons I believe. And I believe, as I told the board when we went up for the uniform, and I told them that he was the top enlisted man in the Navy at that time. And I believe he was, and I believe that it was a great choice when they chose him to be the first Master Chief Petty Officer of the Navy.
MCPON Black's new position received a less than enthusiastic welcome from the Chief of Naval Operations and the Officer Corps. Black was virtually ignored by the CNO in their first meeting. Admiral David L. McDonald told him that he never believed in establishing the office in the first place. Even the chief community saw the establishment of the position as political. Originally, his office was located at the Navy Annex instead of the Pentagon, and he was assigned only 1 staff member. Despite these setbacks, MCPON Black went to work immediately, reading letters and traveling around the fleet. His goal was to understand the concerns of enlisted sailors. Black later described himself as the spokesman of enlisted personnel. One of the first problems MCPON Black encountered was his inability to communicate with the fleet. Thus began the Senior Enlisted Advisor Program, which later became the Command, Force, and Fleet Master Chief programs. With the advice of his wife, Black added a 3rd star above his rating badge, a sign that he was in fact the highest enlisted sailor. Once he started gaining support from the CNO and Congress, Black was able to implement real change. He addressed family housing shortages, got rid of the old seniority structure after traveling to Vietnam, started the CPO screening board, and with the help of Ima Black, created the Ombudsman at Large, the official role of the MCPON's spouse. Even though he believed Chief of Naval Operations Admiral Zumwalt moved too fast and did not utilize the proper chain of command, Black generally supported the changes he made in the 1970s regarding uniforms and physical appearance of sailors. In response, Black advocated for more leadership training to better equip chiefs for the fast-paced changes implemented by Zumwalt. After 30 years of service, Black retired in 1971 and moved to Florida. He and Ima continued to stay involved with naval affairs, promoting ways to provide sailors the means to have a better quality of life. MCPON Black passed away on March 5, 2000, at the age of 77. He is buried in Arlington National Cemetery.